Welcome to the Fit Femme Project Alignment Podcast. It is here that we cultivate and gather all who have been through it in fitness, relationships, careers, lifestyle changes, and unforgettable crucial life pivots trying to achieve their most sovereign selves. We're here to provide you with thought-provoking, detailed stories and information from truly fascinating men and women from all walks of life, professions, generations, and modern-day sagas who speak to their rawest, darkest moments that made them the strong, decisive, humble, helpful, healing people that they are today. We ask them to hold nothing back because life is a multi-dimensional pursuit to be stronger, healthier, and more aligned mentally, emotionally, and physically. Let's go.
Hey FFP friends and family. I don't know if I have any family listening to this, but let's pretend I do. Welcome back. As you probably know, I decided to take last week off. I couldn't quite decide if I wanted to record and do it real fast, and it just felt really rushed because I didn't get back from Miami until Tuesday, and then I had to catch up on work because it's kind of difficult to work when you're on a couch and there's other people around you doing stuff, and plus Mark wasn't technically working, so he's not distracting, but he's cute though. But yeah, so we were in Miami for his niece's birthday, which was on the 30th, I believe. And she had a big, birthday party in his parents' backyard with the big blow-up slide water thing. And it was so hot. And I was just staying inside, and he was getting annoyed at me that I wasn't circulating to all his friend, or not, it wasn't really his friends, but some old family members that he hadn't seen in a while, or just acquaintances that he'd met a few times, things like that. And he's just so polite and courteous, and I'm not. I'm just I'm gonna do what's in my best interest, and I'll say hi, I'll be polite, but he just takes it to a whole new level of courtesy of oh, you gotta, I'm fine being introduced to people, and I'll say hi, and then I'll just go back inside because it's cooler in there. So yeah, I know he was probably a little annoyed at me for that, but I did my best, and I would stand out there and drench in the heat and the sweat. They had fans and shade, but it just, it's not the same. But we had a good time, and I've been there a couple of times to Miami, and people are always ooh, Miami, how fancy. I'm yeah, no, not really. Because every time I've gone, and the first time that I've ever been was quickly to catch a cruise when I was 14, and that's it. And then the rest of the times it was him. Ever since I met him, and his family lives there, and God, that music's loud, bro. I think that's a motorcycle. These motorcycles have their music playing so loud. I cannot wait until I can soundproof this a little bit better. It's going to sound and be so much better. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, so I hadn't really explored Miami and stuff because we just go to visit his family. And he even feels guilty if he visits his friends because he's there to visit his family. So we really don't get out much. And I'm not complaining, but all I ever say, or I've told him before, was if we have the time and the opportunity, of course I would love to go do something, go see some of your old haunts or see some of your friends, that kind of stuff. And we've been down before for weddings, so that has awarded us some opportunity in that way. But this time they kind of surprised me with a little beach trip because I'm a water girl. I'm a water sign. What's up? And and people are always oh, you go to the beach when you're down there. I'm nope. I've never been to a beach in Miami, and people are so flabbergasted. So, and I kind of give Mark the funny little side eye. So we did go. We went to like kind of a more secluded beach, more locally, even though it's, my God, is it rush hour? Oh, it kind of is actually. But the beach was great. It was on a Monday, and we were there pretty much all day long, and I played a little hooky from work. Don't tell anybody I said that, but it was really great. So getting back into the swing of things, I got a new workout plan from Lindsay. I don't know if it's for you guys whenever you like get set up on a new workout plan, like it's so motivating, right? It's like, yeah, let's go. And have the energy and you have the motivation. And so the past 2 weeks, you'd be surprised, or you guys would be proud. I've been waking up. Okay, actually, I've been waking up at the same time I always do, but instead of sitting on the couch drinking my coffee for 2 hours, I just like do it real quick, cuddle my kitty, and then I just get up and go to the gym before I do any work. So I'm getting up at the same time, not necessarily earlier, maybe a little bit earlier, but I've just always always just envied the ability to work out in the morning because I love the idea of just getting it done and out of the way, right? That's why people do it. But I'm just like, I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. and Mark gets up at like 5 or 5:30 to hit some class. Like, no. And for some reason in my brain, it was always like, I felt like it had to be like that. Like, in order to fit everything into my day, I have to wake up at like 5:30, get my workout in, do this, do that, and then work. You know what? Actually, I'm quite efficient when I need to be. So I've been waking up just like a smidge earlier and then just doing the coffee, wake up routine a little bit faster, and then just going downstairs or driving to the gym, which is 5 minutes away, getting it done. It's so much better. And I don't do it for every single workout. So I just like really just learning about the flexibility and just allowing myself that you can do that. And my excuses before were, 1, I didn't want to wake up at the ass crack of dawn. And 2, it was like, well, work, I just got to get it off of my brain. It's stressing me out. Lord almighty, that street is loud today. But yeah, so those are my excuses of like work. I just got to get it done. It's fast paced. It's stressful work. And I just got to just get it off of my brain, right? Well, it's not that big of a deal. I'm still getting all my stuff done and I just kind of let it go. Big lessons for me over here. So yeah, that was probably my win of the week. That's what I told Lindsay, my win of the week. But looking ahead, this is some exciting news, at least for me. We have our retreat coming up. The whole FFP crew and Rosetta, our sweet pea of a friend, and she's going to be joining us hopefully as a coach soon. I don't know. That's not my thing to decide, but I think it should happen. But should I edit that out? Whatever, it doesn't matter. And we're going to Denver for our retreat, and I'm just so excited to see everybody. Last year we went to the Smoky Mountains, which is the other side of the country, and it was such a good time to like be together, get good content, and just connect and have fun and relax and all that stuff. And we're going to be recording some excellent episodes, because it's only going to be excellent because we'll be together, and then the stuff we're going to be talking about is going to be just kicking it up a whole notch. I'm so excited. But anyway, moving on. So this is technically the part 2 motivation that I did for, I started 2 weeks ago. I didn't quite know where to go on this one. I was thinking about doing the Enneagram, but we've kind of already been talking about that a lot, even though I could go forever talking about the Enneagram. So I decided to lay off. So for this one, I just kind of wanted to really get into, and we all know, right, that motivation isn't always gonna be there. It's not always a reliable source to change our habits, to get into new habits, or to do what we feel we need to do, or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's why we always preach, or you always hear left and right, you just practice makes perfect, or you just got to be repetitive, or you got to train yourself to be habitual, things like that. It's because of literally quite a scientific reason. And I really want to talk about that because Nicole and I have been geeking out over some sciencey, stuff, and she's motivated me to get back into my reading again. I go through those periods, as we all do, but I really want to get back into my reading of not just my thriller mystery stories, but of the self-help stuff like this. I could go all day about it. But one of the books that I read a long time ago was called, and I've talked about it before, I talked about it in the last episode, actually, I think, with Nicole, was a book called The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Doidge. And it's really just a research book about neuroplasticity, right? What is that? To me, that word sounds pretty self-explanatory, but it's just the ability for your brain to be plastic, to change, right? So when it comes to health and fitness and getting new habits, being more consistent, it's understanding that is a process of rewiring your brain. That's why it can be difficult to create new habits, or to learn a new language, or to even learning to walk again after a car accident, right? You're rewiring your brain. And it's so important. To me, it's motivating to understand and to know the true power that our brains really have. It's quite fascinating. And one of the things that he talks about in this book, on how the brain, how does it reorganize itself? How does it change like that? One of the things they say is it's through unmasking. And it describes what happens when one neural pathway is shut off and a secondary one is exposed, and the latter becoming stronger with repeated use, right? And that's why you hear us saying that change happens when you're not motivated and you do it anyway. Repetition, the more you do it, the easier it becomes, because you're literally changing those neural pathways in your brain. And to me, when I understand that, it's just oh, okay, it takes away this is so annoying, right? It's just oh, no, I just gotta help my brain out. I just gotta do it a couple more times. It's just gonna get easier, right? And it's just so cool to me. And another thing they talk about in that book, in rewiring your brain, is through imagination. And what is it? What do you call those? Oh my God, I can't think. The people who you know what I'm talking about. But when you're trying to imagine your future, right? They talk about these in motivational videos and stuff like that, and manifesting. That's the word I was thinking of. When you're trying to manifest something for your life, right? You imagine it. You imagine it as if it's real, as if it's there and tangible. And there's also a very scientific reason behind that as well, whether people know it or not. And imagination can change your brain through visualization. And in that book, let me get to my note here because I want to remember exactly. Okay. They talk about an experiment that they did in this book, and they had two groups of beginner pianists, and one group, sat in front of the piano and visualized playing a sequence while the other practiced it for the same amount of time. And when they mapped the subjects' brains, the scientists discovered that just doing a mental practice resulted in the same physical changes in their motor systems as to the ones who actually practice. In other words, basically, they had approximately the same skill. So imagining doing something and actually doing it aren't that different to the brain, which is super cool and creepy, right? Think about it with strengthening your muscles. So in our little topic, our little world here. They did another study that one group was doing, I think it was finger exercises or finger contractions over 4 weeks, while the other group just imagined doing those muscle contractions. And at the end of 4 weeks, the ones who actually did the exercise increased muscle strength by certain number, but then the ones who just visualized it increased their strength by it was a really close number. Like the ones who actually did it obviously were stronger, but the ones who imagined it weren't nearly as strong, but surprisingly close, and they didn't even have to do anything. So that's like our dream come true, right, guys? We don't want to have to actually do anything. Right? I can just imagine having my 6-pack, like, oh my God, I gotta calm down. But that's basically what it's talking about, is that you can rewire your brain to exactly pretty much what you want, to what you desire. And this is very helpful for me in my Spanish speaking journey, of which I have not gotten very far, but I got to pay for some more classes. I'm honestly just waiting for my old apartment to finally close out so I can get my deposit back, which I'm super nervous about. I hope it goes cool. I hope it goes well, because your girl had to put down a pretty big deposit. Anyway. So all in all, to say that when motivation isn't there, resort back to the science. And sometimes that really helps people when they're trying to do something. For me, I love and want to do something when I understand why, the logic behind it, the more sciencey stuff. I have faith, but my faith in what is unseen is reserved for other areas of my life. And I think a lot of people think that way too, in terms of like, well, why am I doing this? The more you're educated, the easier it is to go about the world in general. And I've gotten in trouble so many times with like work, or even sometimes school, but mostly with work. When I question things, people would just like take it offensively. Like, why are you being difficult? Why are you being hard to work with? Why are you being insubordinate? I'm like, well, I'm not. I just want to understand why you're making me do something. Bosses do not like that. Do not recommend. But also recommend, because I'm very picky when it comes to leaders or bosses. If you don't know why you want me to do it, then sorry, I ain't doing it, bro. Where was I going with that? The biggest thing, though, is just asking questions and educating yourself. Not that you're dumb or just or uneducated, right? We all have space to learn and grow, regardless of who you are. And there's that quote. Oh gosh, who said it? Or even, how did the even quote go? It was like, if you think that you're the smartest person in the room, then you're really the dumbest one, right? It was something along those lines. And God, had I known that back in the day, I would have felt so much less anxiety about asking questions, especially in school. So the more you ask, the more you know, and the more you know, the more you can achieve. Right? And that's what we're here for. That's why we're doing this podcast. That's why you have your coaches, for those of you who have coaches. And, the internet is a great place, but it can be very confusing and hard to navigate, because there is a lot out there and it is overwhelming. But do the best you can and find some trusted, reliable sources like yours truly. And, just the rest of the FFP fam and coaches and Casey and all of us, and you know what? That just leads me up to this. If you do have those questions or things that you are confused about, or just need more clarity or motivation even, you can email me. You can email us at the ffppod@gmail.com. And I really want to start reading those. I'm gathering up a big group to be able to do a couple episodes at the same time, or record at the same time, if you will. But that's just one of my dreams. So make my dreams come true. Oh, anyway, but yeah, that's all I had for y'all today. Next time I am back, we will be in Denver. I will probably have a buddy with me. I'm so excited. So stay tuned. Watch us on our socials. We'll be posting all up in your face. My God, it's amazing how quickly I can talk and how fast time goes. Until next time, guys, we love you. Thank you again for listening. We'll talk to you inside that Facebook group or just message me. Happy to talk. Y'all have a great rest of the week. Bye. Thanks for listening to the FFP Alignment Podcast. Please support us by downloading, rating, and recommending us to your friends and family. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at the FitFemme Project. That's FITFEMME Project. And for those of you looking to find their essential balance of lifestyle and fitness, book a free consult by going to thefitfemmeproject.com. That's FITFEMME Project.com and click Apply Now. Until next time, this is the FitFemme Project Alignment Podcast.